What's up? Starting another news roundup here on the channel with more Washington Commanders updates. Another video that's always quick, objective, and fully up to date. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. We've got daily videos so you stay super informed and don't miss a thing. And smash that thumbs up. It helps a lot, supports the channel, and really motivates me to keep recording. All right, let's get into it. Big situation coming in. For those who don't know, Adam Peters works with a philosophy of 5 core positions to win in the NFL: quarterback, protector, pass rusher, pass defender, and playmaker. With the selections of Jaden Daniels and Josh Connerly Jr., the first 2 pillars are locked in. But the third one, the pass rusher, is the massive black hole on the current roster. In his end-of-season press conference, Peters was crystal clear. We will absolutely pursue another pass rusher, either in the draft or in free agency. Free agency opens before the draft, and the names on Washington's radar are elite level. Peters will have to decide whether to go big on veterans like Trey Hendrickson, market value around $25.4 million per year, Khalil Mack, $18.4 million, or Joey Bosa, $13.7 million. But if he chooses to follow the youth movement through the draft, the top names right now are Ruben Bain Jr., David Bailey, and Cassius Howell. The real twist, Peters hasn't ruled out doing both, signing a veteran for immediate impact and drafting a young talent for the future. The situation is urgent, with Durant Armstrong Jr. still recovering from a serious knee injury and veterans already gone. The Commanders are basically operating like a team with no real pass rusher on the roster. Under new defensive coordinator Durante Jones, pressure up front will be the key for the secondary, which struggled badly in 2025 to survive. Peters knows that without this third pillar, Jaden Daniels' offensive talent could be wasted in high-scoring shootouts. The plan is set. The money's in the vault. Now it's time to act. So let me ask you, would you rather see Adam Peters spend big to bring in a guy like Trey Hendrickson this March? Or would you rather use the 7th overall pick in the draft to grab a young talent like David Bailey? Drop your take in the comments. Switching topics. Breaking update coming in. Here's the big one. Bleacher Report just dropped a bombshell. The Washington Commanders are now considered the #1 destination for a trade for superstar Maxx Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. With nearly $68 million in cap space, GM Adam Peters has the credit card ready to go after one of the best pass rushers on the planet. Crosby is unhappy in Vegas. At the end of 2025, he publicly blasted the Raiders' decision to bench him just to secure a high draft pick. On his podcast, he said, "I play to win." And that's exactly the mentality Dan Quinn wants in Washington. Crosby is 28 years old, in his prime, and has an absurd 69.5 sacks and 311 pressures in just 7 seasons. Of course, a player of that caliber doesn't come cheap. The estimate is that Washington would have to give up 2 first-round picks, including our 7th overall pick this year and next year's first, and take on a contract of around $85 million over the next 3 years. But look at the impact. Imagine a defensive front with Daron Payne, Jerzon Newton, and Maxx Crosby. New defensive coordinator Durante Jones would have a true joker piece, someone who can dominate in both a 4-3 and 3-4 scheme. Crosby can rush from the edge or kick inside, blowing up any offensive game plan. This is a pure win-now move to put Jaden Daniels back in the playoff conversation. The big dilemma for Adam Peters is this: do you spend your draft capital on Crosby or use the 7th overall pick to draft a young talent like David Bailey out of Texas Tech? Bailey would be cheaper and wouldn't cost picks in a trade, but Crosby is a proven elite superstar, a locker room leader, and the nightmare of every NFC East quarterback. Bringing in Maxx Crosby would send a message to the entire NFL. The Washington Commanders are done being irrelevant, and they're ready to fight for the top of the conference again. The offer is on the table. The money is there. The question is the risk worth it? So, let me ask you straight up, would you give up 2 first-round picks to have Maxx Crosby terrorizing offenses in Washington? Or would you rather use the 7th pick in the draft and save that money for other positions? Drop your take in the comments. To close everything out today with one more bomb, the latest shocker is that Kliff Kingsbury, who mutually parted ways with the Commanders after 2025, is now being interviewed by the New York Giants for their offensive coordinator position. He also spoke with the Titans, but the search now seems to be narrowing inside our division. The Giants are a mess offensively. They finished 2025 with the worst red zone efficiency in the NFL, just 39% touchdown conversion. Their new head coach is none other than John Harbaugh. Yes, he took over the blue side of New York, and he sees Kliff as the ideal coach to develop young QB Jackson Dart, a first-round pick. We all know Kliff's offense in Washington had ups and downs, finishing 22nd in scoring. But there's one detail fans cannot ignore. He knows everything about Jayden Daniels. If Kliff Kingsbury signs with the Giants, we'll face him twice every year. He knows Jayden's preferred reads, the weaknesses of our offensive line, and how Dan Quinn structures his game plans. That kind of inside knowledge is exactly what rivals love to have. And on top of that, his resume developing mobile quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Mahomes in college, and Jayden himself is still highly respected across the NFL. The division is turning into a battlefield of former allies. While Washington builds a new identity with David Blough on offense, the Giants are trying to steal our old formula to save their franchise. If Kliff manages to replicate in New York what he did with Jayden early in his career, division matchups just got a whole lot more dangerous for us. Kliff left, but he may come back as an enemy. So, I want to hear from you. Do you think Kliff Kingsbury will succeed with the Giants and become a real problem for Washington? Or do you believe his system has already been figured out and the Commanders will win those matchups? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what the fan base thinks about this possible traitor storyline. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'll be back at any moment with the next chapter of this saga. We're together, and let's go Commanders!